What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to bring you a quick comparison on two different types of keyboards that you may be looking into if you're trying to get into the mechanical keyboard market. So I have two different varieties here. One is more of a standard, somewhat mass-produced keyboard. This is from Ducky or Vermilo. This is one of their Maya Pro. This is the Star Edition one, which is more space themed. Hopefully somewhat see it there. But most of your Ducky mass-produced keyboards you can get anywhere between $99 and $175 depending on what model you get. And then you have more of your custom built. This is a KBD, this is a 65, KBD 65 keyboard, which is a custom built. Yes, I did have them build it for me, but you can order everything separate and there's more customizability. And this is about a $300 keyboard. So I kind of want to go over the difference and weigh how one may be better for you, how it may persuade you to choose one over the other. So the first thing is with your standard built keyboards from like Ducky, Leopro, Corsair, Razer, things like that, they generally come with very few switch options. So Ducky traditionally uses Cherry MX switches. They've branched out a little bit and started using them in different varieties, but they're mainly all Cherry MX switches. So that's the first thing I would consider is go online, check some switches and see which ones you like. The KBD 65, you can get literally almost any key switch you want. I have the Zilio V2 67 gram, which I really like, but you can get Cherry MX, you can get Zilios, you can get Xylons, you can get Gateron, you can get a million different type of switches for these. So that's probably the big thing there. When it comes to the actual build quality of them, you do know a difference here. So the KBD 65 is solid aluminum. It is aluminum. It's got a brass plate on the back. Hopefully it focuses on that and not my face. But the build quality on these things is just amazing. I mean, it's almost 3 times the weight as the actual Ducky keyboard, which is mainly a plastic design. So it's not necessarily that this is built better, it's just a more premium. It's like the Acura versus the Honda. So they both are well built, but one has a little bit more premium build quality to it. So you can definitely tell a difference in the actual build here. Because this is mainly all plastic. It is a very nice, well-built keyboard, but this one will just actually look better on your desk. At least from my eyes, I think it looks a little bit better, and you can just tell that it's a little bit better built. It's all machine aluminum, similar to like how they do a MacBook Pro, how they're all just machine aluminum actual bases. So that's the big thing I noticed with that. The switches, and the fact that you can actually customize and get these lubed now, so you can get your switches lubed, which is another big bonus. And then the other thing to mention is they both do USB-C, so that's not that big thing there. But the other big thing to mention is that they do have hot swappable custom boards now, so where you can just, let's say you want to start out with Cherry MX and then you want to upgrade to Zilio switches down the line, you can do that with hot swappable PCBs. This just has a standard soldered board because I knew what switches I want, but if you don't, you can spend that, $253, $300, $500 and get removable hot swappable keycaps or the PCB, which is nice. The other thing to mention is that more with the custom mechanical keyboards, I think you have a little bit more variety of actual keycaps you can use. So I have no idea what these keycaps are called, but there's a million different type of keycaps you could use. As with this pre-built one, it actually would probably look a little weird if I put different keycaps on it. So a lot of the Ducky Maya Pros and a lot of the other Ducky keyboards, even with the Leopold, I think the standard keycaps that are on there are one of the better ones. Unless you stick with the same brand, I just don't think you have as much flexibility there. I just think this would, while these keycaps are nice, PBT, double shot, they are basically baked into the board. It would be very difficult to take those keycaps off and actually do anything different with that. The other thing, I believe these both have cherry stabilizers on them, so there's nothing big there, but you can actually put your own different variety of stabilizers on here. You can put different film pads underneath to make it more silent. You can lube them, so there's just a lot more variety you could choose here. And you can really get into some fancy stuff. You can get ones that have RGB lighting around the side, which is an option with this. You can get a plastic, like a clear plastic case where the RGB will show through. This currently has a just white backlight, but you can get different varieties there. This one has white also, but a lot of times with your pre-built keyboards, you either get white, RGB, or none. So there's not a whole lot of choice there. So you just have, again, a lot more customizability with these custom-built keyboards. And I think just the quality is a little bit better. They just feel nicer. I think the biggest thing is the switches. So if you order this from KBD Fans, which is where I ordered it from, you can customize and put any switches you want and your keycaps. So you really have a lot more flexibility if you're wanting a certain look or a certain type of switch for your keyboard. As with the Duckies, they're mainly always Cherry MX. Same thing with Leopold. Corsair has their own switches. Same thing with Razer. I believe they both use their own custom in-house switches. So you're going to be limited on that. So hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of the custom keyboard layout. I will try to put links to both of these below. I got this on mechanicalkeyboards.com. It's a great place to go if you're wanting to first get into mechanical keyboards. I bought both of these with my own money, nothing sponsored here, but they're the only Ducky authorized dealer in the United States that I'm aware of. But if you're wanting to branch out, try to get a mechanical keyboard. Even if you just want to spend $100, you don't want to jump into the custom keyboard route right off the bat. You can get a 65% mechanical keyboard from them pretty easily and only spend about $100, where this is going to cost you at least $250. But mine was around, I think it was $284 for the actual one you're actually looking at here. Another thing to mention is that the different key sizes. So with pre-built boards, generally they are 60, 65, and then I believe it's 80 and then 100%. So generally that's all you see here. You get a little bit more flexibility here. You can get a 40% keyboard, you can get 75% keyboard, which will probably be something I look into next, because I think that's probably the perfect option there. So you do have a little bit more flexibility in. I haven't seen any pre-built boards with that 75%, at least not easily to find. So that's it. That is my general rundown. I do not think you can go wrong. Go online, check out YouTube, look at some of those switches. You can order different switch, like an actual test. It basically comes with all kinds of different switches on it and test them out. But you definitely tell when you pay for those premium switches. The Zilio switches on this are way different than the Cherry MX Brown ones on this. They just feel more stable. They don't feel as wobbly. There's not as much chatter or as much movement. They just feel like a more fluid. If we go back to the Honda versus Acura standpoint, it's just a little bit different, a little bit more premium, and you can just tell that they're a little bit better, more oriented to whatever you need custom switches. So that's I know it's hard to kind of explain, but you can just tell that this keyboard costs almost twice as much as this one. The second you pick it up and look at it, you can just tell that it's a more premium keyboard. Is that right for you? No, I had Ducky keyboards with standard Cherry MX blue switches on them for years. I think I had, I forget which, my Shine 2, I think was my first one, which I had forever. And I still really like their keyboards. That's why I have this one. This is a new Bluetooth keyboard that they produced with mechanical keyboards and Vermillo. And I like that for using with my laptop. Whereas these, your more standard pre-built, custom-built mechanical keyboards, a lot of times they do not have any type of Bluetooth or wireless connectivity, while the mainstream boards are starting to get a little bit more into being able to allow you to get a little bit more Bluetooth and wireless options. So that's why I picked this one up, so I could use it with my laptop. One more quick note. This one's obviously way easier, more portable It's at least 50% lighter. It's so much lighter than this. I would not want to move this, and it's really expensive, so I don't think I'd want to drag it around, throw it in my backpack. But if I wanted a cheap mechanical keyboard, you know, if I was going to LAN parties, or if I just wanted to use it at work and take it home and just go back and forth, I would get some type of Ducky, Leopold, some type of standard $100 keyboard that I wouldn't have to worry about breaking, and was a little bit lighter because it has a plastic construction. So that's it. If you have any comments, questions, leave them below. I'm not a mechanical keyboard expert. I'm a general consumer who stumbled across Ducky keyboards a decade ago and kind of fell in love with the mechanical keyboard market. This is my standard one I use every day that I will probably keep for the rest of my life till it dies. I kind of wish I would have got the 75%, mainly because I do use the function row fairly frequently. So look into that when you're shopping around, and enjoy the market out there. There's a ton of keyboard options out there. That's it. Comments, questions, leave them below. Yeah, if you'd like to see more videos like this, give this a like, thumbs up. It does help the channel without contributing to anything. And I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, weekend, whatever it is out there. And I'll see you guys next time.